Hi there. Welcome back. So this video came into my feed and I want to watch it along with you and react to it. This is Kamala Harris's first solo interview without her running mates attending with her. And a lot of people are saying that this interview is being hidden and not being promoted as much as her first interview was, and that there's a reason why. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I just decided to quickly watch this, react to it, and then let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's dive into it.
I'll start with this. I grew up a middle class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teen.
Okay, this didn't start from the beginning, so let me skip back to the beginning of the interview.
Madam Vice President, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for your time today. Our audience appreciates your time as well.
Of course.
As you know, we're sitting here in a state and arguably in front of an audience that 54 days from now could decide the outcome of this presidential election. Yeah. You hear it more than I do. People want to know more about you and about your specific plans. At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. I wonder if we can drill down on that a little bit. When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
So this is an opportunity for her to clarify some of the things that may have been missed during the hustle of the debate. Now, remember, at the debate, each candidate had about, I think, 2 minutes to defend their position. And then I think 1 minute for a rebuttal if they needed to respond to their opponent's points. So now she's in a solo interview. She's being asked questions, and I think this is a great opportunity for her to clarify her policy positions on some of the things that she may not have been allowed to clarify during the debate.
I'll start with this. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, construction workers and nurses and teachers, and I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience,
Okay, I'm going to be interjecting because we have to keep within the fair use policies, but she did this during the debate. She will be asked a question and then she'll tell the story of how she was brought up in a middle class setting, and it's almost like in answering that way that was a non-answer. The question here is, what is your position on I think is about price fixing, on regulating the markets and price fixing and things like that. And she's talking about her being a middle class. Well, let's see where she lands.
And that we as Americans have a beautiful character. We have ambitions and aspirations and dreams, but not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions. So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is very much with the mind of investing in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, worked long hours, and our neighbor.
Okay, I have to apologize. I mentioned that she was that the question had to do with price fixing or regulation, but it's actually about building an opportunity economy. From what I understand about the United States already, that already exists. Immigrants can move into the US and within a few years, either running their own business or have risen to top management positions in big companies. So it's strange that this is a talking point. It kind of reminds me of the talking points of old politicians when they would campaign and they will say that they want to give you light and water. Okay, like those are things that are already in place. So why is it such a big campaign promise that you're giving us what we already have? I mean, that's just my thoughts. Now, remember, you can respond in the comment section below. Please, this is not a partisan platform, so be courteous, but bring your points in. I want to know what you think about the way she's responding to these questions.
Still call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader. She hired locally. She mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the end of my first term. In addition,
okay, before she goes on, she talked about giving new businesses $50,000 tax credit. And I think it's a nice idea, but it's also a dangerous idea. New businesses are businesses that haven't been proven yet. So if the government is giving, now when she says tax credit, what does that mean? Does it mean that they would give new businesses a line of credit of up to $50,000? Does it mean that new businesses will not have to pay taxes of up to $50,000? Like their taxes only kick in as soon as it reaches or as soon as it gets past $50,000? I don't understand that policy. If you understand what she means by giving businesses a tax credit, please put it in the comment section below. I know that in North America, new businesses have a line of credit. For many banks, it starts at $5,000. And when your business grows and shows that they have a stream, an income stream, then they offer you a higher line of credit. So I don't know if that's what she means, or if she means that they won't pay taxes until they pass $50,000 in taxes. It's confusing to me. I don't know if anyone out there knows what she means by that. Please put it in the comment section. Let's keep going.
just want to get, so giving first be able to just get in the door, and then they will do the work that they need to do to save and to pay that mortgage and to build wealth for themselves and their family. These are
All right. So I would say, again, giving out money. Look, when I moved to North America, my family needed help. We needed all the help we could get. But if we were simply given money to do things like get a mortgage. Now, when you get a mortgage, the first thing that the bank does is to evaluate your ability to keep up your mortgage payments. They assess you. They assess your income, your household income. They assess if you'll be able to keep up with not just the mortgage payments, but things like insurance payments, the annual tax payments, property tax that you're meant to be paying, and so on. These are payments that are regular, and the bank needs to assess whether you're capable of making those payments. Now, when policies like this get enacted, they sound very nice, they sound very attractive and very compassionate. But are you giving these funds to people who will be able to sustain their mortgage payments? If you give someone $25,000, that gets them access to starting a conversation with a bank about buying a home. Is that person capable of holding down a job that allows them to keep up their mortgage payments, their property tax payments, the utility bills, and everything else that entails that is required to keep that home that they're buying functional and kept in good condition. These are questions that need to be asked. It's great to sit down and get a politician tell you they're going to give you tons of money, but is it a good idea? If my son walks up to me and says to me, I want a car, I'm looking at him, he's 14 years old, he doesn't have a job. If I give him a car, will he be able to sustain it? Okay, so these are questions that should be asked. Just let me know in the comment section. Do you agree? I mean, like, these are nice ideas. Who wouldn't want to get $25,000 or $20,000 to be able to go and apply for a mortgage at a bank? Everyone does, but is it going to help that person? All right, so let's keep going.
The community, and deserves fulfilled because they're prepared to work for it.
You talked at the debate and at previous appearances about turning the page on the past. And in fact, here today in Johnstown, you're talking about a new way forward. Yeah. I think some people have a question, given maybe your current role as Vice President of the United States, how different you are from Joe Biden. And so I wonder if there are one or two spots, policy areas or approaches where you would say, I'm a different person.
Okay, this is an opportunity for her to basically not distance herself, but distinguish herself from Joe Biden. And at the same time, explain the current dynamic between her and Joe Biden. I think she has to figure out how to squeeze that into this answer. And let's see what she says.
I offer a new generation of leadership. And so, for example, thinking about developing and creating an opportunity economy where it's about investing in areas that really need a lot of work. And maybe focusing on, again, the aspirations and the dreams, but also just recognizing that at this moment in time, some of the stuff we could take for granted years ago, we can't take for granted anymore. For example, another plan that I have that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families for the first year of their child's life, because that is obviously a very critical stage of development of a child. And a lot of young parents need the help to buy a car seat or a crib or clothes for their kids. And so my approach is about new ideas, new policies that are directed at the current moment. And also, to be very honest with you, my focus is very much in what we need to do over the next 10, 20 years.
So the idea about giving young families a did she say tax credit or tax cut? I don't know how she's used tax credit for businesses. She's used I think she used a similar term for what she wants to do for young families. These are great ideas, but how are these workable? How are these workable? Giving a young family a $6,000 tax for the first year sounds good, but things get more expensive the older the kid gets. They get more expensive. You get a car seat. By the time the child is 2 or 3 years old, they need another car seat for the larger, sized kid. There are other things. There's dental. There are a lot of other things to cover. So the first year is nice, but is this a policy that is going to provide long-term relief or long-term solutions for families? She hasn't yet defined the difference between her and Joe Biden's current policies. So let's keep listening.
We need to make a decision. What does the data say?
Crime and public safety are two major issues right at the forefront of voters' minds, in Philadelphia as well, where crime is a significant issue. When we talk about crime, the conversation turns to gun safety as well. And I think you actually probably caught a lot of people off guard, maybe a bit by surprise in the debate the other night when you mentioned that you are a gun owner. I know you said it in 2019 as well. I want to talk about your values on this issue. When it comes to gun ownership, where do you draw the line in America on gun ownership and gun use?
Well, like you said, Brian, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz My running mate is also a gun owner. We're not taking anybody's guns away. I support the Second Amendment, and I support reasonable gun safety laws. Part of my approach to this is I was a career prosecutor for most of my career. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have personally looked at autopsies. I have personally seen what assault weapons do to the human body. And so I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need an assault weapons ban. They're literally tools of war. They were literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. I say we need universal background checks. The majority of NRA members support that. Why? Because it's just reasonable. You just might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You just might want to know.
Two final questions, if I might.
Sure.
All right. So she's mentioned gun safety. Yes, you need to have a database to track the sale of firearms. Sadly, the majority of gun crimes are committed by unregistered firearms or committed by the use of unregistered firearms. So on one side, this policy makes sense. On the opposite side, it doesn't really make sense because the law-abiding gun owners are the ones who are going to be hit by the implementation of some of these policies. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section and do it courteously. We need to look at how these things affect the societies in general that have implemented these gun or firearms regulations. I've heard it said online that the states that have implemented these policies are actually the states that have the highest crime rates and homicide rates based on firearms or based on the use of firearms in those situations. So let me know in the comment section if this is right or wrong. Let's wrap this up.
Sides. He has an historic appeal in this country. And as you are someone running against him and trying to understand that, I wonder how you distill it. What do you understand his appeal to be? And how do you speak to his voters? Or maybe people who just share his values but are open to something else?
I, based on experience and a lived experience, know. In my heart, I know. In my soul, I know that the vast majority of us as Americans have so much more in common than what separates us. And I also believe that I am accurate in knowing that most Americans want a leader who brings us together as Americans and not someone who professes to be a leader who is trying to have us point our fingers at each other. I think people are exhausted with that approach, to be honest with you. I think people want a leader who has common sense and tries to find common ground. I'm supported by over 200 Republicans who worked for both Presidents Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney. I'm supported by the former Vice President Dick Cheney, former Congress member Liz Cheney.
All right, so I've seen people online state that that's not a great endorsement to be endorsed by the Cheney family because they're responsible for the Iraq war and that they are very pro US involvement in foreign wars. So being endorsed by them for a lot of people is not such a great testament to your validation or validity as a great candidate for the American people, because if they are pro-war, pro-foreign interventions, then it's going to tell really poorly for the average American who has to live through more foreign interventions and wars and things of that nature.
I think people, in light of the hate and division that we see coming out of...
Okay, is it true? Now, I want to ask this question. Is it true that the hate and division comes out of Donald Trump? Or is it the fact that mainstream media began to attack him viciously, accusing him of things that may or may not be true? The thing, many of them have not been proven to be true, and mainstream media has equally been caught giving out a lot of misinformation about things that he says during his speeches, twisting words to mean other things. So, is it that Donald Trump is the one responsible for the current hostile situation in politics, or is it that mainstream media turned against him when he called them out during his campaign, calling them fake news, and they in turn decided to take the gloves off and attack him vehemently all through his tenure as president. And he, in turn, being a New Yorker, got into a street fight with mainstream media, and they basically are accusing him of the one who started it. Let's unpack that in the comments section. And please, if you want to give an answer, do so with historical backing. If you have footage from old news reports from 2015, 2016, and onwards that tell the story, it'd be great to see those reports sent in. I am interested in seeing the truth of all of these accusations. Like I've said repeatedly, this is a political campaign, and the job of politicians is to make themselves appear appealing while the opposition is demonized and painted as the evil one. So when we're looking at these conversations and these arguments, we need to have these in mind while we're assessing the two candidates and their speech and those that support them.
To say, hey, let's put country first. And I think that just makes us stronger and more healthy as a country. To say,
well, Donald Trump does say "Make America Great Again." He does have an America First policy. So I think in that way, she and Donald Trump are on the same page.
stop with the division. Like, enough of that. Let's bring everybody together.
And finally, as you introduce yourself to America in a new way, they've heard much of your story at the Democratic National Convention and in that debate earlier this week. If there's one thing that you wish Americans knew about who Kamala Harris is that you don't think they know yet, what would that be?
I don't know. I mean, probably it's not very different from anybody watching right now. I love my family. One of my favorite things that I lately have not been able to do is Sunday family dinner. I love to cook. I have incredible friends. My best friend from kindergarten is still my best friend. I think that, I have a career that really, and I said it the other day, as a career prosecutor, I never asked a victim of crime, were they a Republican or a Democrat. The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay? And I think that's the approach that most Americans want, regardless of who they voted for in the last election, in terms of turning the page and charting a new way forward.
I imagine you're looking forward to cooking Sunday dinner again.
I am looking forward. Yes, I am looking forward to cooking with the whole family.
Okay, so we're gonna end it here. So it's already been long enough, and I wouldn't want to drag this out. So, what do you think about this interview? Was it better than the one she had with Tim Walz beside her, or was this better than? Did the answers she gave here more succinct and clearer than what she offered during the debate? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear back from you. This is election season. Lots of my feed is full of content that is related to the elections. My feed is also full of content related to movies because I like movies and I like to see what's going on in that industry. Let me know what you think of this content, what you think of my reaction, whether you think some of the points that I raised are valid or not. And if you have opposing ideas, let's have them in the comment section. I love to have conversations. I've already started some really interesting conversations in the comment section, and I usually respond with a video trying to give a lot of nuance to some of the things that are being said in some of the content that I'm reviewing or reacting to. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Until next time, God bless you. See you soon.